Some mysteries hide in the dark, others build a home there. What you're about to hear isn't just a crime, or a disappearance, or a haunting. It's a place where all three blur together, and the truth waits in the shadows. The word "help," smeared into the mud beside the narrow vertical shaft, changed the tone of the investigation instantly. This wasn't a symbolic message. It wasn't old graffiti. It was fresh, written with a finger, and confirmed to be Maya's handwriting. But the shaft was too narrow for a person to descend safely without specialized equipment, and too deep for the search team to see the bottom. So investigators lowered a thermal camera. What they saw made them freeze. At the bottom of the shaft, partially obscured by debris, was a heat signature. Not warm enough to be a person, but warm enough to have been touched. Recently. The next morning, a technical rescue team arrived with rope systems and confined space gear. They descended the shaft slowly, inch by inch. At 42 feet down, they reached the bottom. There, they found a torn strip of fabric matching Maya's hoodie, a small pool of water mixed with mud, and a handprint on the concrete wall. The handprint was smeared downward, as if someone had been trying to brace themselves while sliding or being pulled. But the most disturbing detail was the direction of the drag marks. They didn't lead deeper into the tunnel system. They led upward, toward a narrow side passage, one too small for an adult to crawl through, unless they were forced. Back on the surface, investigators received a call from the digital forensics lab. They had extracted the final metadata from Maya's phone, and it revealed something impossible. The last outgoing call, the one made 3 minutes before she knocked on Daniel Reeves's door, wasn't to 911. It wasn't to a friend. It wasn't even to Eric Dalton. It was to a number that had been disconnected since 2007, a number registered to Lena Hartwell, the woman who vanished in 2004. The call lasted 6 seconds. No audio was recorded. But the timestamp was real, and the phone had not been spoofed. Investigators returned to the storm drain entrance with a new lead, a former member of the Boundary Seekers named Caleb Rourke, now in his 40s. Caleb admitted the group used the underground system extensively, but he insisted they never went near the shaft where Maya's message was found. When detectives showed him the triangle and circle symbol, he shook his head. "That wasn't ours," he said. "We used it, but we didn't create it." He explained that the symbol marked boundary points, places where the forest's underground structures connected in ways that didn't match official maps. He described them as old access points, places that were built over, sealed off, or forgotten. Places you weren't supposed to find. Then he drew something on a piece of paper, a crude map of the storm drain system, and on it, he marked 3 boundary points. One of them was the shaft where Maya's handprint was found. Another was a location deeper in the woods, a place he called the chamber. Digital forensics uncovered one more piece of evidence from Maya's phone. A corrupted audio file recorded automatically when the device detected sudden movement. The file was only 4 seconds long, but when enhanced, it revealed heavy breathing, rapid footsteps, a male voice shouting something unintelligible, and at the very end, a metallic clang. Investigators isolated the final sound. It matched the acoustic signature of a storm drain access hatch slamming shut, the same type used in the Boundary Seekers' old maps. Detectives confronted Eric with the new evidence. The call to Lena Hartwell's number, the handprint, the audio file. Eric's reaction was immediate. He panicked. He insisted he didn't hurt Maya. He insisted he didn't follow her. But he admitted something he hadn't before. Maya had shown him a journal she found in the woods 2 weeks before she disappeared. A journal belonging to Lena Hartwell. Inside were entries describing strange noises underground, people moving through the tunnels at night, and a warning: if you hear tapping, don't answer. Eric said Maya became obsessed with finding out what happened to Lena, and then he said something that chilled investigators. She told me she wasn't alone down there. She said someone else was leaving messages for her. When detectives asked who, Eric whispered, she thought it was Lena. Search teams followed Caleb Rourke's map to the second boundary point, the chamber. It took hours to locate the hidden entrance, buried beneath layers of moss and fallen branches. Inside, the air was cold, still, silent. The chamber was a circular room carved into the earth, reinforced with concrete. Old equipment lay rusted in the corners. But on the far wall was something new, a message written in charcoal. Not her. And beneath it, a second message, written in the same shaky handwriting found beside the shaft. He took me. It was signed. As investigators documented the chamber, a radio call came through. A hiker had reported seeing a man running through the woods near Brookdale. Tall, wearing a hooded jacket, carrying a red beam flashlight, the same man from the security footage. But the hiker added one detail the camera never captured. He wasn't running randomly. He was following a trail of small, reflective markers nailed to trees. Markers that formed a path leading deeper into the forest. A path that wasn't on any map. A path investigators now believe Maya was forced down, and the man following it. He wasn't searching, he was retracing his steps. If this story unsettled you, subscribe and stay close. What comes next goes deeper.